Dr. Schauss, you played an important role in the New York City school system study. Tell us about this landmark study and how it impacted the development of FMB.
I was asked by the New York City public school system to give them some advice on changing the diets in the New York City public school system's program. There's 1.2 million students in the school system at the time. The school system was way below the national average on national test scores, despite the fact that the teachers were the highest paid teachers in the country, and most of them had advanced degrees, master's or doctoral degrees, teaching students. So the question is, why is a school system that's paying so much to the teachers and also getting such poor academic performance when there was a ratio of 17 students per teacher, so there was no crowding in the classrooms, doing so poorly? So we thought that if we were to change the diets of those children, we could increase their academic test performance.
Well, and in this country, there's so much focus on the decline of the public school system when, if I'm hearing you correctly, it may not be the decline of the public school system as much as the decline of the family diet and the nutrients that the children are getting. And so this could make a huge difference in our country.
What an opportunity for us to take the research we were doing and take a look at whether diet could actually influence academic standardized test performance. To measure the change, the school system wisely decided to bring a university in and prospectively study what would happen to the students over the next several years as the diets were changed. At the end of 4 years, the students and the professors who were massaging the data, trying to figure out what had happened, because something dramatic did happen. The largest gain in academic standardized test performance in United States educational history had occurred within 4 years.
Wow.
And the school system went from well below the national average to above the national average, and yet it seemed like everything remained constant.
Right.
There weren't increases in teacher salaries. There was no change in the student-teacher ratio. Nothing had changed. And in 1985, at a meeting of the American College of Nutrition, the university and the principal investigators arrived and presented their findings. And they reported on these dramatic gains. And they said it was caused by the diet. At every grade level, in all races, both genders, and regardless of income, children improved on this diet. No exception. So I sat down, worked with Barbara Friedlander-Meyer, who is the chief nutritionist for the New York City public school system, and we decided, first of all, to write a book to let parents know about what kind of dietary changes were made and how they influence academic performance and why, and the research to support that. Well, Lisa, it was interesting. When the book first came out, they started me on a television tour where I would go to local networks starting on the West Coast and eventually work through into the Midwest and to the East Coast. And I had just finished Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and reached San Diego. I got a call from our agent and the publisher saying, "Stop, the book is sold out."
Oh, that's a good problem to have.
I said, "That's it?" They said, "Yeah, all the books have been sold. They're gone."
Oh, my goodness.
Well, one of the things we wanted to put in the book was the information from the scientific literature in very easy-to-read fashion as to what did we learn about each one of the nutrients found in Feed My Brain tablets, so that you know what each vitamin, what each mineral does. In addition, there are many food components. There are different types of foods that provide phytonutrients, things that we're beginning to learn a lot about in this 21st century, things like the power of antioxidants, different components, phenolics, tannins, a lot of technical stuff, but we're beginning to realize that all of these things are very important. So it's not just a multivitamin tablet. That would have been easy. Those have been around a long time. No one has seen dramatic gains in an 8 IQ giving just a multivitamin. What we had to do is take a look at the real world from the largest nutrition study ever done, describe what that study was about, how it was conducted, what the nutrients were in those foods, and then in the rest of the book provide examples of how in a 12-week period you can increase and improve your child's diet to reach that point where your children are eating as well as the kids who benefited from the breakfast and lunch program in the New York City public school system.
Now, are there any, are there like recipes and things like that in the book?
It's very easy to follow. Rather than making a revolutionary change in your home life, this we're throwing out, this is going out, and this is coming in, it's a gradual process. So it's not too hard on the family or the children or on the budget to make the transition. We finally decided to do was to work out the organoleptics to create a chewable tablet which actually tasted fabulous. But it took a lot of years of trial and error to eventually get a tablet to taste that way and to be totally natural. In other words, no synthetic flavors or colors or anything of that nature. Much like what we did with the school, which is just natural foods and their nutrients. In 1993, we finally had a tablet which really tasted good. And I said, well, we're ready to go out in the field and give this a try. Well, this continued, by the way, this field research for about 5 years. And at that point, we had so much data from not thousands, not tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of students. So we found the same results in upper class, middle upper class, as well as lower class neighborhoods, in private schools, in public schools. We were getting all the same responses. So I decided it was time to do a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial in the United States.
Okay, now I hear that phrase a lot. Tell me, what does that mean?
Well, the critical part of the study is that it's impartial, that neither the students nor the teachers nor anyone involved in the study knows whether a child is getting a placebo, basically a sugar pill, or getting the Feed My Brain tablets. Okay. And each morning, the students, it was done in the Phoenix school system, would receive 2 tablets right before class began. This was continued for a 4-month period, and then again, independent university investigators examined the data and discovered the largest gain in innate IQ ever reported in the scientific literature.
Really?
Right, and then they published that, of course, in a peer-reviewed journals. There were 2 major papers published on the outcomes, and then we felt pretty confident that we really had something which had scientific credibility and could be substantiated. Let's look at 2 things that happened. One is we saw about a 16-point gain in IQ in 20% of the children. That is really dramatic. That's dramatic. The other thing, we saw that for all of the students compared to the group that received the sugar pill, the placebo, there was a 10-point IQ in that period of time. So that, again, is quite significant. If a child has an IQ of 100, which they consider average IQ, if you standardize it around the thousands of children that have taken the intelligence test, this is a well-validated, reliable, robust, very accurate way of assessing intelligence. When you look at 100 IQ points, this is a child who could do successful work in a vocational school program. If you increase their IQ by 16 points, you now have a child who can successfully graduate from a graduate school or professional graduate school program. You have taken a child.
So 16 may sound like just a
doesn't
handful,
sound like much.
But that it really is a huge difference.
Right. You're taking a child who has income potential of somewhere between $15,000 to $30,000 per year, and you've elevated their income potential to somewhere about $83,000 to $110,000 per year. You're talking about the difference of making $1 or $2 million and making somewhere around $7, $8, $9 million in a 40-year period. That's enormous difference.
So by providing the FMB product for our children, we really are investing in their future.
Absolutely. And that's another way we have to look at it. We are making an investment in our children.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm on fixed income, Social Security and a teacher's pension, and I can afford it. So if I can afford it, most anyone can afford it.
I think that everybody should try FMB. They would find such a big difference in their lives. They would never want to stop taking it. They'd make it part of their nutritional regime on a daily basis.
Well, I can tell a difference even from day to day or week to week if we don't take it consistently. Like I forgot to pack it on our vacation, and I could not wait to get back home and start taking it again because I feel a difference, and I do see a difference in my kids.
No doubt, FMB worked for me. I've had some very positive results. I hope that other people can get the results that I've gotten. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable, and I consider it a great blessing.
I would be very comfortable in recommending Feed My Brain to my family and friends and colleagues. I'm really amazed at the results that we've seen in this study with Lisa and her family.
My coworkers and everyone has seen a dramatic increase, and I've recommended to them, and I'm recommending to anyone who has a hectic lifestyle.
I definitely think finding FMB, it's given me hope for my son's future. I'm not worried anymore. I used to be a nervous wreck about how he was going to do, and I'm not worried about it. I just feel this was a godsend for our family.
I just hope more moms and dads take it to heart and give it a try, because our diets are so poor. We need to feed our brain. We need to feed our children's brain the proper nutrients.
Thank you, Dr. Schauss. And thank you for joining us. Nothing can stop the power of a product whose time has come. And for Feed My Brain, that time is now. I'm Lisa Whelchel. Thank you for joining us.